Hi everyone, Matt Watson here from carwow. Welcome to my new daily driver. It's a Mercedes-AMG A45s, and in this video I'm going to tell you what I don't like about it, but of course also what I do like about it. One of the main things is this, like you can just do this dead easy. It's nuts! Now more on that later, but before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you will not miss a single upload. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's start off by talking about the fact that I seem to be going the wrong way down the Mercedes alphabet. I was on G and now I've gone all the way back up to A. In fact, when the guy from Mercedes came to collect my G63 and replaced it with this, I was a little bit disappointed, but I've since fallen in love with this car. The G was lovely and a real special thing, but this is way more fun to drive and easier to navigate round town. Also, I've taken it away on a driving weekend, all through the Cotswolds, through Peak District, through Wales, and I totally fell in love with this car. I was thrashing it down lanes, and I was with a group of people, and they had things like Ferraris and Porsches and stuff, and I was all over them. I'm very confident, loved it. Also, an important thing, my girlfriend loves it as well. Out of all my long-termers, which is your favourite?
This one. Why? Because it's small and it's fast.
You could be reviewing cars with such insights like that.
I think I'd be brilliant.
One of the great things about this A45s, from my point of view as a motoring journalist who likes to film a lot of drag races, is just how easy it is to engage launch control. So I'm in comfort mode now. I'll try and do it, left foot on the brake, floor the throttle. Nah, it's not having any of it. But all I have to do is just turn the dial into race. My left foot is still on the brake. Now I floor the throttle. Race start is ready. Though I'm not ready to go yet, so I just disengaged it. Actually, I am ready to go. Oh look, it just engages again. There is no faffing about with it. I love it for that. Now, I've got my specialist timing gear here, so I want to time the 0 to 60 and the standing quarter. To be fair, this track is a little bit damp, the tyres are cold, but A45s doesn't give a shit. It'll just launch, whatever. So let's do it. Here we go. Race start engaged, one-handed, guys. Off we go. That's 16, 3.65 seconds. Where's the standing quarter? Come on, I'm running out of space. Get to the standing quarter now. And we're on it. Oh, wow, 11.96 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. This particular version of the A45s is the Plus model. It costs about £6,000 extra over the normal car, and you get some upgrades such as forged 19-inch alloy wheels, which I like the look of. But the key thing for me is the extra styling stuff, so you get some more aero at the front. These little winglets are called canards, apparently, though that reminds me of the word for duck in French. More important is the wing on the back. I really think this car does need those extra aero elements. Some people have complained that they look a little bit aftermarket and stuck on, but I think they're talking absolute crap. Now the Plus model also gets leather for the seats rather than fake leather. Also includes a sunroof. I like the sunroof. I always have it open, and there's some other bits and pieces you get with it as well. As part of the Plus package, you get adaptive dampers. It's the only way you can have them fitted to the car. You can't specify them separately, which is a little bit annoying because you do want them. They make a difference. Over bumps, you want the car in comfort mode. It's soft enough that it's not a pain to live with every day. In fact, I'm gonna press this button here to put them into sport. Already going over the manhole covers, I can just feel it's a little bit too firm. If I'm in Sport Plus, then it's just way too firm. Most of the time, actually, when you're driving around in the UK, you're just gonna have to be in comfort mode. I love the AMG steering wheel. So it looks good, but it's also really nice to hold, especially the Alcantara effect here. It's handy that it's got a dead ahead stripe as well, so you know which way the wheel's pointing. And I like the stitching. Best bit is this though, the drive select switch. You can just quickly rotate it to change your driving mode without having to look down anywhere. I always run the car either in comfort if I'm just cruising around full auto mode, or I'll put into individual because I've set it up exactly as I want it. You can change the drive system between these different settings. I go for dynamic, which is the most responsive. The transmission, obviously I'm going to put it into manual if I want to have some fun. Dynamics, so that's to do with the rear differential, how much power it will send to the rear wheels and how aggressive it is. I tend to have it on advanced because Pro and Master are a little bit too aggressive on the road. It can really get the car rotating a little bit more than I'd like, unless I'm on track. Then I go full Master, of course. And then suspension in comfort, just because the British roads are so bad. You don't want it skipping around without actually getting any grip. And then the last thing is the exhaust system, which of course isn't powerful. Now, if you want to change those on the fly, you can then use these buttons here. Just toggle between those different settings. Brilliant. This little A45S, it's just so much fun to drive. It really, really is. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, it doesn't quite have the same level of involvement and tactility as something like a Cayman S or a BMW M2 CS. It's not going to have, is it? It's a front wheel drive based four-wheel drive car. But still, the steering, it's lovely. The brakes, they're sharp. They're also lovely. The chassis is lovely. You do feel a lot through it. It really is very good. You can see how much grip you've got. It's involving for a hot hatch. And obviously being four-wheel drive, it's super easy to even drive it quick on a day like today. I think you can drive a car like this quicker than a BMW M2 or a Cayman S. You absolutely can. Most normal people will be quicker in this. I love the fact that while this drives like a sports car, it's still just a normal practical hatchback. You can actually fit 6 of those small suitcases for carry-on luggage on an airplane in the boot of this car. I actually use it for transporting my big boy toys. Look, if you can't afford a full-size Jeep, just get a toy one like that. Whoop. Almost. One of the best things about this car is that it has a real clever rear differential. So the four-wheel drive system can send 50% of the power to the back wheels, but then that rear diff can send 100% of that 50% to either wheel, so it can overspeed an outside rear wheel, which really does help drive it through corners. You also get a drift mode. So if I pull up on both paddles, you have to have the car in race mode actually. Now if I pull up on both paddles, drift mode currently unavailable. What's that? Okay. If I put the car into manual mode and I pull up on both paddles, drift mode currently unavailable. If I turn the stability control all the way off and now pull up on both paddles, drift mode is available, confirmed by pulling up. Let's do it. Let's get in gear. God, I'm hopeless at this, aren't I? Oh, understeer there. And you can just get it going round like that. Let's go the other way. Now this is actually quite good when you're just driving on the road, because that sensation of the car coming around and driving you from the outer rear wheel is just lovely. And of course it's quite a bit of fun when you're just on a skid pad. Yeah, all good fun. Unless your tyres, then it's horrible. One of the things I really love about the car is the interior design. So the A-Class is just way ahead of an A3, a 1 Series, a Golf, or whatever else you want to compare it to in its class. Part of the reason is this screen setup. And with the A45, you get the full-size screens as standard, and they just look glorious. I also like the way that you get like the yellow contrasting and stuff like that here and on the seats, which is really, really nice. It feels posh, it feels expensive. There are a few bits which are a touch on the cheap side there, like the door handles a bit plasticky and the way this moves, but really that's about it. Most of it is really top notch, very cool. And being a Mercedes, you have the gear selector here on the steering column. I can't express how much I like that feature. It's just so easy when you're manoeuvring, and having the seat controls up here rather than having to faff around feeling for them down here and getting your hand all trapped and stuff. Really like the interior, very easy to live with and super cool to look at. I've got to give a special mention to the seats. They are absolutely wonderful. They're really comfy over long distances. I've spent hours in these seats. No backache at all. Yet they grip you perfectly. You can actually alter how much they grip you by pressing a button, squeezing in the side bolsters, and then you can just get them to fit your body. It's almost like you're tailoring the seat to yourself. They also have something called seat kinematics. So at the press of a button, you can make the seat move around ever so slightly. And what that does is keep your body moving just by the smallest amount. You don't really notice it, but it means that you don't get stiff by sitting in one place. It's very clever and it works. I really like interior ambient lighting on cars, and this A45S has 64 different colours for you to choose from. Oh, I'm going to settle with green. I think it just works really nicely with the yellow stitching and the yellow exterior paint. And actually the yellow and green colour combination actually matches that in the lounge in my flat. Another nice feature is this: whenever you turn up the temperature, even though you have like green in the gauges now because that's my chosen colour, if I turn up the temperature it goes red, and if I make it colder it glows blue, and then eventually it will go back to the green. It's cool. One of my biggest problems with this car is the price. It starts from just under £51,000. This one with a plus package is almost £57,000, which is nuts. It's just so much to pay for a hot hatch. Similar money to a Porsche Cayman S. Though to be fair, this does have 70 more horsepower than the Porsche, and I think its engine is a lot nicer. Biggest problem though is the CLA 45S. That's only £2,000 more, and I think if you're paying that kind of money, you feel like you've got a more grown-up car than a hot hatch, so I'd probably go for that. I do get rather annoyed with constantly having to stop to fill up this car with fuel. You see, the tank is only 51 litres, which is all right for a normal A-Class, but yeah, with something that's as thirsty as this, you want it to be slightly larger. So I'm averaging 25 miles per gallon with this thing. On a run, I can probably do about 28 and get it up to 30 if I'm just cruising on the motorway. But then when you want to have some fun, this thing will just drink fuel like crazy. One of the things about the G-Wagon, I didn't have to fill it up so much, but when I did, I'd be there for ages because its tank was so huge. This one, I just wish I could put more fuel in it in one go. One of the things that I personally find annoying about this car, which you probably won't, and it's just because I'm a motoring journalist, it's that when I'm presenting to camera and I'm saying the word Mercedes,
what would you like to do?
Then the car just interrupts my piece to camera and then I have to record it again. It's really frustrating. Cancel, cancel. It also made me realise that I often talk to myself. You see, the other day I was just driving along and I was thinking about a video I was going to do on this A45, and then the system just piped up. It was like, how can I help you? Reason being, I was obviously thinking the word Mercedes, but actually...
How may I help you?
I was also saying it.
What can I do for you?
So there you go. I just talked to myself.
Could you repeat your input, please?
I feel like I'm talking to myself now, by the way, love. Go on, bugger off. You'd expect that AMG would put real exhaust tips on their A45S, but no, they couldn't resist the temptation to do some fakery. They look real because they do actually have holes in them, but that doesn't really lead to the exhaust pipe. There is an exhaust pipe behind there, but there's only one. If you look in, you'll see exactly what I mean. These are just for show. They look nice, but they ain't fooling the carwow stick of truth. One of my biggest disappointments with this car was when I realised that it didn't have automatic cruise control. You see, I reviewed the car in Germany on its initial launch and it had it. It's really good. It does that thing where it'll brake and accelerate to keep you a safe distance from the car in front and steer to keep you in lane. The G63 that I had would do the keeping you a safe distance from the car in front, but not the steering in lane part, which is a bit annoying. You need the whole thing working. I was looking forward to getting this because it meant that if I'd be working late on a shoot up north, I'd just engage that cruise control system and it'll see me safely home without me having to do too much. So I was gutted when I discovered that you can't get that system on the A45S in the UK, not even as an option. All you get is that normal cruise control, the old-fashioned one, which is absolutely useless unless you do all your driving at 3 AM in the morning when there's no other cars about. I really like the driving position in this car. However, I'm the kind of person that likes to have his steering wheel quite low, and with it in the lowest position, which is where I really want it, the top of the steering wheel just covers the very top part of the digital display where you have your shift up lights. So I have to have the steering wheel a bit higher. And look now, you can see the top part with the speedo and the shift up lights. Those are really handy actually. There is something else about the display which is a bit annoying for me. You see, the best display you'd think would be the Super Sport display, but I have to have it on Sport because this is what the Super Sport display looks like. That. What on earth is that for a dial design for Super Sport? The one in the G63 was really cool. You just had like this central rev counter with a speedo in it for Super Sport. Why didn't they just copy that and put it on this? I have to say, for a performance car, the exhaust note is not great. To onlookers, people on the outside, it just sounds like they're being passed by a slightly angry vacuum cleaner. The noise inside is a bit better. It's as though they enhance it in the cabin, because then you can hear the pops and bangs a bit more and the farty sound on the upshift. And you get the turbo whistle a bit, but really, I wish it sounded better. I'm blaming petrol particulate filters for that. They just have muted the noise of modern cars. It's a shame. Perhaps the most annoying thing for me about this car, if you want to connect your phone via Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, then there is only one place to plug it in. It's just down here. I don't mind that it's USB-C only, because I have the new Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, so that has a USB-C, USB-C cable. It's good. Look, starting Android Auto. Thing is, I can't put the phone in there like that because it pushes against that cable and it keeps on disconnecting then, and it won't quite fit in there because this is a big phone. There ain't no room for it, so I have to put it in the cup holder like that, and that's just not an ideal solution, is it really? There are a couple of USB inputs there, but they're just for charging. They won't actually run Android Auto if you plug it in there, because ideally that's what you'd want to do. You have your phone out of sight, locked away and plugged in there, and then you just operate it through the screen. Why did you do it that way round, Mercedes? One last thing is that I'm not sure that if I was buying this car, I would go for this colour. I do like it, but if it's my own money, I'd play it safe and go for the matte grey because it looks super cool in that scheme. Also, this yellow seems to attract the insects quite a lot. I've been filming this car in summer and it just draws wasps to it. I think it's the fact that it's black and yellow, just like them, so they see an affinity for it and they just want to go and hang out with it, which is really annoying. In fact, I've nicknamed this car the German Wasp on account of the fact that it looks like one and it's definitely got a sting in its tail. Now, what do you think about this car? Let me know in the comments below, and also come up with some ideas of some videos you'd like me to do with it. I'll be reading through your comments and I'll see if I can make them happen.